So I decided to write my research paper about how Star Wars, uh, the first six films, in particular, changed the film industry forever. And I chose only the six first films because I have a personal bias against Disney and Disney Star Wars. And let's just get right into it, shall we? I want to start by saying that they're not made by George Lucas. Shocking, right? They're made by Disney, right? Okay. But Disney got the rights after handing Lucas about $14 billion. So, and Lucas knew that they wanted to do a sequel trilogy, so he handed them a script, and Disney threw it away. So I think this really shows that Disney just doesn't really care about the IP, and this was not this. Honestly, that just makes sense. Like it kind of went downhill, like Star Wars went downhill after they kind of threw that out. But they wouldn't let him direct, they wouldn't let him write or even produce on anything. So they hired like other directors to, obviously direct, but these directors didn't understand the universe as much as like Lucas did. So that kind of resulted in unintentional and kind of intentional retcons and also horrible ideas that kind of just overall hurt the franchise. I want to go on like a side note for a second that the sequel trilogy is not great in storytelling. Um, they kind of lied about having a planned out trilogy. They're like, yeah, we have a plan for the trilogy. Don't worry, because people are kind of getting little sus, little suspect after the Last Jedi, and then turns out that they don't. They don't. They didn't have a plan at all. Some of the actors revealed that in an interview. Um, but yeah, but don't worry. The episode 8 and 9 still made over $1 billion each, even though I think they are the worst Star Wars media yet. Because, well, they made over $1 billion because they have the Star Wars name. But like, a thing is like, okay, sequel trilogy, yes, does look nice. I'll give them that. I think one of the most iconic, memorable things of the sequel trilogy is this scene on, I don't even remember the name, but I just call it the salt planet, red salt planets. I like the contrasting red and whites. I think the land ships are kind of stupid, I don't lie, but they do look nice. The sound design is nice. That's something they did knock out of the park. The visuals, the sound, CGI, whatever, they all look great. Storytelling, it's not it. It is not it. But um I want to compare the sequel trilogy to kind of a recent uh I guess planned trilogy it's gonna be to the Spider-Verse films. And these films, if you ask anybody like a review of them, they're all gonna say like they have good style, they're colorful, they look like the comics, and they also have a really good story. I think the case for the sequel trilogy is they're fun to look at. Like Star Wars is fun to look at. You have lightsabers, you have spaceships, you have explosions, you have fun things to look at. It's action, sci-fi action. But whenever that like storytelling clashes with like the visuals, like and some things just don't make sense, like that's whenever I have a problem. Like I would say Spider-Man, like the Spider-Verse films have like 10 out of 10 visuals. They have like a probably 8 or 9 on story. I do have problems with the second one, but I think it's easy to point at and say, hey, that's a good movie. That's a 10 out of 10 movie. It's fun. It's a good story. Star Wars trilogy, the sequel trilogy, not so the case. It's fun to look at, but man, is the story horrible. And I think it's just kind of just wasted potential. And like they had a script from Lucas himself, legendary George Lucas, the man who created Star Wars, created Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, created Indiana Jones, created Indiana Jones the character, not just the movie. That man wrote you a script, it's a layup, and they just missed. It was like free money, and they missed. And now like that just like soured the taste of so many fans for the franchise, me included, because I personally just don't see these three films as part as the trilogy. I kind of see it as like it ends after six, maybe a continuation with the Mandalorian because that's a little bit after six. But the Mandalorian's going downhill right now, and there's not a lot of hope for Star Wars, which is kind of sad and depressing. But that's the main reason why I didn't choose these these movies, and I did write about it. Like I kind of wrote a sentence in the research paper, but this video helps to explain just a bit more, and most of it's a rant. But yeah, that's film class.